to On the Couch with Abby. You know, on today's episode, I was really going to skip the long intro. But then, what is On the Couch with Abby without a badass intro for my guest? So, my amazing guest today is one of the top producers in the Republic of Ireland within the urban space. He started off as an artist and transitioned into producing music for other people. Last year, he received the Outstanding Contribution to Music from the Black and Irish. It is the amazing, most talented Tunde Esho, properly known as Simba Bianchi.
Yo, that was a sick intro. We got there in the end. That was a sick intro. Thanks.
We got there.
Love for having me, for sure.
So welcome today.
Thank
so,
you.
How are you today?
I'm good. I mean, it's a bank holiday. We're enjoying ourselves. It's raining outside, so
Yeah,
good.
and we're in your studio. So
Yes.
we're in the Junglebeam studio.
You're in the jungle.
Yeah, we're in the jungle. I love that. So we're gonna go into that later on. But you know, when I interview people, I like to start from the beginning. So I want to ask, how did you know you were going to go into music? Because of course, you did start off as an artist.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that. Growing up.
I don't know. I always liked music. My dad is a pastor, so I was in church. I was in church
In the choir.
playing the drums.
Right.
So like when I liked church music, but then I found out about rap music like when I was like
Yeah.
13 or 14, and that changed everything for me. So from there on, I started writing my own stuff. But I think in the back of my mind, I always knew that rapping was not for me. It was just a way to get in, and then stop doing that after a while.
Okay. So you mentioned rapping. Actually, one second, guys. Sorry, Tunde, can you face me like this a bit to make it a bit more personal?
Okay. Yeah.
It feels a bit too cold. Use this way. So you mentioned rapping. You know, should we talk about back in the day when you were known as Trey?
That's straight. That's the fact that you know that is mad to me.
Right.
Because I was called Trey for less than a year.
Oh, really?
I didn't release. I think I released maybe one song as Trey.
Right.
Then I was like, yeah, no, let me call myself Tunde Esho.
Sure. Okay, interesting. So tell me more. Should I say your gangster days?
Yeah,
Because-
Trey was my gangster days.
Right.
That was
Right, because I mean, you released 2 EPs, right?
Yeah.
And I know this one that I think I was at the album launch, or because I don't know how I got the album.
Yeah.
But I know I had the album. I bought the album or the EP rather, and it was called is it Standout?
Standout, yeah.
And in that album, you spoke a lot about being a Christian, and then you're sort of like a transition from being like, I don't know, should I say in the world or being a gangster?
Yeah.
So you spoke about that, and then there's one of my favorite songs actually on the album called Mad. And then you said what mad meant was, made for the, sorry,
Make a difference.
make a difference, make a difference for the Lord.
Yeah.
So tell me more about all of that journey back
It was an interesting journey. It was fun. I mean, because you said Trey, I was a gangster. I wasn't a gangster, but I was doing gangster rapping music.
Right.
I was trying to do whatever. But then I became a Christian. My dad was the pastor.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. Yeah, I believed, but I wasn't
Yeah.
a Christian.
Yeah.
So after I became a Christian, I was like, okay, I can actually what I'm doing now. I can spread the gospel through this. So like one of the first songs I made for that EP was Go Mad.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was one of because I remember making it in the basement in the house in Lucan.
Right.
And that was one of the first songs we made, and then every other song, Saved by the Blood, they all just came after that.
Yeah.
And it was a good experience because I was in the church every year. I was still a youth, so like it was a way for me to connect with like younger people and just say, yo, we're young, but we can still make a difference for Christ in whatever we're doing.
Love that. And I was listening to it last night, and what's so interesting, and I think this is one of the things I find interesting with people that are talented, you know, whatever it is that they do, that you make timeless sort of piece of art, is the fact that this album was made in 2010,
2010.
and this is not 2023. And I was listening to the song last night, and you could actually still jam to it.
That's mad.
You know, I know,
That's
seriously.
crazy.
And I was actually hoping if we could even play it or something, you know. But he's taking my phone. What was I gonna say? So yes, and then one thing as well that I noticed, you obviously produced the
Yeah.
music yourself. So the music is still quite
It's
timeless,
still quite,
if I
yeah.
can say that on your behalf.
We thank God.
Thank God. And then one thing I noticed, because you were talking about growing up, your sister
Yeah,
is
yeah.
actually on the
She's
EP.
the guy. She's the one
I didn't
singing.
realize that she's a singer.
Yeah, we were going everywhere together for
Oh
like
wow.
3 years, but then she went to like focus on her books.
She went to where?
Just focus on her books.
Right,
Yeah,
focus on the
she
books.
went
Right.
to study and be a
Okay.
lawyer and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So like no, she's the one on the song. We did like all the shows I did in that time period. Like she was
Right.
always with me.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
I knew, okay, I'm rapping, but I wasn't like a singer. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So she was doing the singing.
yeah.
Because that's then interesting, because of course I know your sisters, or actually, because I think your brother as well is part of the, what's it called? The podcast show.
Where's your head at?
And then your sister is like a content creator. And
Yeah.
then your other sister, she has her own catering services.
Yeah.
So you're all creatives.
We're all doing
really.
something, yeah. we're all trying to do something. Shout out to my dad for that. He had the business going on, so we
You
saw
have
that.
that entrepreneurial
So I guess
spirit.
it just kind of rubbed off on everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Great stuff. So tell me, Tunde, of course, within everyone's life, there's a journey. So you went through a journey, you went through a path where you actually were involved in a road accident, in a car
yeah,
accident. Do you want to
yeah.
tell us about that?
Yeah, while I was working on the second EP, second album, my first album, because I have an EP and an album. It's called Dead to Air. We had like
Right.
a 24-hour studio session. Like, it wasn't this studio, but
Yeah.
one of my older studios. I had writers, I had producers, and I had a few artists in the studio. So we were just working like all day. So it got to like 3 a.m. and it was time to go drop everybody. So I'm the one that's we got into the car, dropped everybody, dropped up like 4 people in different places, went to Navan, went to Nace, then
wow.
we were going to Dundalk, and then that's when it happened. I just fell asleep for like 2 seconds.
Wow.
And then I woke up on the road, I was like, oh shit, after crashing.
Wow.
And I was in the hospital for like a week.
Okay.
Then after I left the hospital, I didn't even want to drive. I didn't even want to get into a car
Wow.
for like 6 months. I was just getting the train to places. I was like, no, I'm not
Yeah,
getting
that
a
must
car.
have been a traumatic
Yeah, it was
experience.
at that time, but now it's like I think about it and I don't even feel anything anymore.
So tell me, what impact did that experience
Yeah,
had on your, journey?
it just made me want to work harder at the music because it's like
Right.
they say like, oh, you almost died doing something you
Love.
love. It's like, okay, maybe you're meant to be doing it. I don't know. So it just gave me that extra push that, okay, just go harder at this because at that time I was working on the album. So the album was
That's
So the album was meant to drop in 2 months, but I had to push it back because I was obviously in
Yeah.
the hospital for a while. So it also helped me make some different songs, helped me tap into different emotions and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because as an artist, like I think you need experiences in life. When I first started making music, a man spoke to me. Was like, "Oh, Tunde, for you to go far at this music, go out and experience life,
Right.
so you can put that back into the music." And that helped me in that period for sure.
Right. 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 So tell me about this space. Junglebeam Studio. What made you transition? I mean, I know you did say that you're not a singer, but you were rapping. So what made you say, I'm going to put that to the side and I'm going to focus more on producing? Because this is giving me like, oh my God, what's this guy's name? Malik Berry kind of
Malik Berry,
vibes.
okay.
Where he was... actually, no, he was the other way
He was
around.
he was a
from him, wasn't
producer,
he?
then
He was
became
a
an
producer,
artist. Yeah.
then transition. So this is quite common, even with like, the likes of Pharrell.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was with Neptunes. He was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, was he an artist and then transitioned to
Yeah.
producer, or
Yeah.
it was,
It was
doing
an artist.
both?
It was doing both, and
Doing
then
both simultaneously.
he's mad in the head. Yeah.
So tell me, what made you put that to the side and say, I'm going to focus more on the producing side of things?
Yeah, I think one of the main driving forces was we didn't have I didn't see any affordable studios
Right.
in Ireland for sure at that time,
Right.
anyways.
Okay.
And even if you went to a studio that you could pay for, I felt the engineers in there they were not giving what was needed for the urban music,
Right.
like because they didn't understand it. So there was a disconnect there.
Yeah.
So because when I started, there was no studio, so I started doing everything myself. So by the time that, like 2 years in, people were hearing my music and say, "Oh, who did that?" But I did it myself. So people then started coming to me, and then from then on, I just started growing clientele from there, and it just kept going. But in the back of my head, I always knew that okay, I want to own the studio. I want to own a space that it's the hub for like urban music
Ireland.
in the country. Yeah. So that was always the goal with this.
Great, great. So, Tunde, tell me, what inspires you? And I really don't want that to sound like a cliche
Yeah,
question, like
yeah,
what inspires you? But I think what I find really, really interesting and intriguing about you is the fact that, as we said in the introduction, you received an outstanding contribution to music last year. So it's the fact that you've been in this industry for such a long time. And I'm sure it's when you started, we have times where we're doing something that we love and you don't necessarily have people, an audience clapping for you and saying, well done,
Well
mate,
done.
So what inspired you to stay in the course even without you getting recognition? I mean, and now I
Yeah.
know you do have the recognition, you have a huge clientele, but what?
I think first and foremost, I just love it. That's first and foremost. Like there's times when growing up, being in my parents' house, like
Yeah.
I'll just stay in the room for the whole day, just on the computer, just learning about it. So I think first and foremost, like just the passion I had for it.
Yeah.
But what inspires me, I think, was legacy.
Right.
Like, okay, what am I gonna leave behind for the next generation? Because I saw when I was 14, 15, I didn't see anything to say that okay, yeah, this guy has done this and that. Okay, let me see if I can do that as well. So I think one of the things that inspires me was say, what am I leaving behind for the next generation to actually latch onto and try and make everything, just take everything to another level. I think that really inspires me because like I don't want to just do this and it just ends. No, I don't. You want to leave a lasting impression on the people.
What does music mean to you?
Oof. Music is everything.
Everything.
Music is everything. I don't think I could live without music. Music, oof. Music has gotten me through too many things. Even after the crash, I just had I had a laptop in the hospital, just listening to music. It's different. Like I analyze music. Like if Davido's album now,
Yeah.
I listened the first time. I was just listening to the instruments.
Yeah.
The second time, I listened to what he's saying. The third time, I
Wow.
was listening to okay how everything sounded.
Wow.
The fourth time, listening to everything as a whole. The fifth time, listening to okay how is it running as an album. So it's like it's different. I can't give you okay this is what music means to me.
Yeah.
Music is just everything.
Wow, I think that's interesting what you just said because we are all different, right? I'm listening to the same album and I'm just jamming to it.
Yeah,
So in songs, I'm not listening to the fine print.
yeah, the intricacies, yeah, the details.
The
I think the
details.
details in music is what really is what separates it from like okay, good song and a great song.
Wow.
So those details are they're very important.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Right. So I would like to know, I'll imagine we're like in the same age bracket, right? When it comes to women,
Yeah.
it's usually kind of like, oh, you're set to what's going on? If you know what I mean. I know
Yeah.
you're in a relationship with a
Yeah.
beautiful girl. So
Beautiful.
what's happening?
What's
when,
up?
when are you going to propose to this babe?
Ah,
Because
very
I like to go a bit personal as well.
very soon, very soon. Because it's like I'm not looking for anything else. I found what I
You
found
found
what I
what you're
want.
looking for.
Yeah. So like very soon, very soon.
So, okay, very soon. So, what is it like for men when it comes to marriage? Could you tell me a bit more about where your head is at this stage in your life? I'm not talking about you telling me whether you're gonna,
Yeah.
but like, because in the society, we women tend to get a lot of backlash, a lot of questions in our community, especially as Africans, more so Nigerians. So, do you get any of that? I'm just really curious to know.
Yeah, I do, but I don't care. I'm not that I don't care. Like like the aunties, the mummies, they'll say stuff, but I'm just like, okay, I'll do it in my own time. I guess maybe because as men, we're different to women, because as men is okay, we almost decide when we get married.
Yeah.
But as women, it's like you guys are almost waiting.
Waiting.
So like you guys, when they're saying that to you, like you're like, what can I do about it? Like
Yeah.
I can't do anything about it. But with the guys, like, because we know it's the
ball
ball
is
is in
in
our
your
park.
court.
It's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it when I'm ready. So annoy me.
So you actually do get that sort of
Yeah, but not a
you know,
lot, not a lot.
So
not a
see,
lot.
that's why I wanted us to have this
Yeah,
conversation.
no, like I get it
because
from
women get it a lot.
women get it all the time.
And I tend to speak to obviously more women, even on the couch with Abby, and we have this sort of discussion about marriage because we are getting to that stage, or
Yeah.
we are more so even at that stage where people are getting married, having kids, and all of that stuff. So
True.
I thought to ask you, like, what exactly it is for
Yeah, no,
men.
it's like because as men you decide when it happens. So it's like people can annoy you all they want. It's like, all right, cool. Like you have to wait on me.
Right.
You have to wait on me, and then I'll do it when I'm ready. That's the way I see it. And like because of the job I do, I'm like I see more young people than
Right.
I would adults. I see a
Right.
lot of younger people than me on a regular.
What
So
sort
like
of age bracket are we talking about?
from 14 up.
Wow.
Yeah. So from 14 to like maybe like that 25. That's who I see mainly. So like when I see the adults, it's once in a while. So I'm like,
Right,
I don't care,
right.
man. I don't see you guys enough.
Right. And tell me, what sort of impact does young people have on you, on your mindset? You relating to them on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis.
Because like previously I was young with them.
Yeah.
But now like when they're coming in, I'm seeing differences in our beliefs and the way we act. But I just like it because it keeps me on my toes. It keeps me in tune. Okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
What are they actually doing? And keeps me looking young, I guess.
Great. So obviously, when you do get married and all of that stuff, what do you expect from yourself as a father going into fatherhood? Obviously, I'm not saying you're going into it now.
That's a loaded question. I haven't thought about that.
Because with men, I feel like we
What-
sort of look, right? I feel like with men, we tend to have those kind of conversations that's just on the surface, and I wanted to go a bit deeper.
Yeah. So question again? let me get into it. You say, how do I see myself as a father?
Like, as a woman, right? I'm not a mother yet,
Yeah.
but I sort of know what I'll be like as a mother. Do you have those kind of thoughts? Like for men, is it kind of like I can imagine myself already, like as a mother, how I'm gonna be like with my babies?
Yeah.
Do you have those kind of?
I can imagine myself with little Simba, like
The little Simba, I love that.
taking him to teaching him like everything he needs to know, like especially with music, with life, with sports, with school, teaching him about maths, all that kind of stuff. So I can see myself playing with my kids.
Right.
That's like when I think of kids, that's the first thing I think about,
Playing with
them, because I think that's important as kids, seeing your parents play with you.
Yeah.
I think it's important. And plus, I like to play a lot, so
Right.
if I'm not playing with my kids, I must not
Then
love
what are
them.
you doing? Love that. So you have this new show, is it?
Yeah, a YouTube
coming
series.
out soon, or a series called Simba's Den. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so it's basically an idea that me and a few people came up with together to get artists into the studio. Because I'm always in the studio with artists, and sometimes they come in and they will have nothing planned. They just say, "Oh, Simba, let's go on YouTube." They find a beat, and then
Right.
in an hour's time they have a song done. So I'm like, sometimes it's really cool because they come up with really amazing stuff. So we're like, okay, let's get 2 artists in the studio at a time.
Okay.
We play them 5 beats, and then they have to agree on the one.
Right.
And then they have 45 minutes each to write 32 bars. I mean,
Right.
it's pretty straightforward. Everything is recorded on video.
Right.
We record it, then we put it out, and then people can decide which one they think is better.
Oh, I like
And
that.
so it's because
So it's kind of like a challenge.
yeah, it's a challenge, and because I just saw that there was for rappers, especially in the country, a few years ago we had Defac TV, we had New Era TV,
Right.
so rappers to go on there, and it was a platform for them to showcase their music, but that's gone now.
Yeah.
So like I saw that that's really affecting the artists in the country because they're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, where are we going to put our music? So they just don't record music.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this can be a little spark to get the artists working again, I guess.
Right. Oh, that's great. That's a good idea. And then of course, we talked about Simba's Den, but I think I've seen you in other sort of like podcast stuff.
Yeah.
What is that?
Me and other podcasts, so I think I'm just talking on the podcast.
Okay, you've just
Yeah.
been invited,
Yeah,
so
I've just been
not like you've
invited.
been
No,
okay.
no, no, no.
Right,
We
okay.
used to have a podcast. I don't think it's not something I'll do again.
Right, okay.
It's too
Why
much.
not?
It's too much work.
And actually, when we were coming in here, I think I saw on your on the banner here or something like that, where so you actually not only do you produce music in this space, not only do artists come in here, but I think you actually host people to come and do like a podcast.
Yeah, people can do their podcast
Right.
in here as well. It's right there. We have
Tell us
we have
about
all
your
the equipment.
services.
Oh,
So if
services.
we want to come, for anyone that wants to come into
Junglebeam, yeah.
Junglebeam studio.
So we offer recording services, mixing and mastering services. So like mixing and mastering, you can be stuff you recorded somewhere else, and we mix it over here. People can do video shoots
Oh,
over there,
right.
just in that section. It was
Right.
we used to use the old studio before,
Yeah.
but not anymore. Just you can if you want to
What
do.
happened?
We're doing Simba's Den, so like I'm trying to keep the studio synonymous
Right.
with Simba's Den. I don't want to have like different people having the look of the studio in the video. Yeah, that's the main thing. We do podcasting as well. We also do voiceovers for like books, audio books, and everything. So anything audio related,
Yeah.
do it.
Great. Okay. Another question I was thinking of asking you today is, what do you think one has to have to be a thriving artist, in Ireland, perhaps within the urban space, or even as an Afrobeats artist?
If for Afrobeats, if you want to be a thriving artist, I think you need to move to Nigeria. Move to Nigeria or the UK. And I'll say this. I'll explain why I'm saying this.
Yeah.
Afrobeats, I feel like there's a sound, there's a feel that I haven't seen a lot of producers be able to emulate on this side of the world.
Right.
The producers in Africa in general, the way that they produce Afrobeats, it's insane. So I feel like if you really want to thrive as an Afrobeat artist, okay, maybe not move there, but you have to be back and forth.
Back and forth.
You have to be back and forth. It's like back in the year 2000 or something, when you want to be a rapper, you need to be in New York. If you wanted to make it, you need to be there. So it's like, I think from what I've studied, from what I've seen, I think you need to have a foot in Nigeria to be a thriving Afrobeat artist. And just as an artist in general, know your market. I work with people in there, and their market is not in Ireland, and they understand that. So when they release music, they're promoting it in like the Belgium market, Netherlands market. So like know your market. Like just because you live in Ireland doesn't mean Irish people are the ones that are going to make your music. That even going to feed you via music. Just because you live there, you can. We have the internet. You can promote anywhere. You can promote anywhere in the world because people come in.
Global space.
Yeah, because even on Spotify, it shows you where your music is
The
being
insights.
streamed to
Yeah.
the most. A lot of artists in Ireland. Ireland is not number one on the streaming list. So it's like once you understand that, you can now market to these other markets.
Which leads me to my next question. Why do you think that is? Because from what I'm hearing you say, I actually don't think it's just this is limited to artists. Even with what I do, it's difficult. And I know even for entrepreneurs, it's just I feel like it's just really difficult to do anything in Ireland. Why is that? Is it because we're not supporting each other? And I know this sounds like a conversation. I've had this sort of conversations like even off camera.
Yeah.
So many times with people, and a lot of people just tend to say that, oh, we don't support each other in Ireland.
I don't think it's that we don't support each other. People are supportive. You have the people, you have the section of people that don't support, but I think it's down to Ireland is very. We don't have a lot of there's not a lot of us in the first place.
Hey, there is a lot of us.
There is.
I was at an event recently, Tunde, this DLT branch.
Yeah, but
Do you, I literally was just sitting there, I was like, wow. I know we have a lot of young people in Ireland, but now I would actually love to know the population of just within the young people, without even talking about our parents now.
because someone was telling me earlier on today, I was like, there's like 1 million immigrants altogether in Ireland, and that's black, white
Yeah,
altogether.
yeah.
So it's like I don't think that's a lot of people because let's talk about music now. Okay, let's say I'm a rapper. We have 1 million immigrants. Maybe 600,000 of them like rap.
Yeah.
Maybe 300,000 of them like Irish rap.
Yeah.
Then maybe 50,000 of them will like.
So the pool is
Yeah,
just...
the pool is it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So I think that's one of the things. Another thing is that Irish, don't kill me, please. But I think with the white Irishman, a lot of the white Irish mentality is that oh, this is enough. Yeah, I've done enough. It's grand. Like I don't need to stress myself to like. There's
Mediocrity.
is very common in Ireland. So it's like
amongst
the Caucasians. So
right.
and I feel that's trickled down into the black community as well.
Interesting. Interesting, because this is something that I've taken note of myself. Because I feel like people in Ireland, if you were to compare them with people in the UK, it's different.
Yeah.
It really is different. People in the UK just have this almost like a hustle. But people in Ireland, we're very laid back here.
Yeah, we've eaten
Too laid
burgers,
back
man. We eat
sometimes.
burgers, potatoes. We're full. We're full.
Can you imagine?
People are not starving.
People are not starving. Wow. And do you think someone like you with your brand, do you think you're bringing that sort of excellence, spirit of excellence into the music industry?
I hope so. That's part of the game plan to have some excellence in the music. Like as I said, legacy. You
Yeah.
can't leave a legacy if what you're doing is not excellent. If it's not
Yeah.
if it's not standing the test of time. So yeah, definitely excellence is part of is in the
Into
head.
that.
Yeah.
What would you like to see in the next coming years? Even let's say in the next 3 years, 5 years within this space?
I mean, this year we had two rap projects on the official Irish charts, number
Yeah.
8 and number 2. So, like, what I'd like to see in the next 3 to 5 years is more Irish people getting into the charts with their albums, with singles as well, going top 5 singles, top 10
Yeah.
singles, because when you can say, oh, when you introduce this artist, oh, my name is so, I'm a chart-topping artist. It puts you in a different bracket when you're talking to the artists in the UK. Like, oh, so you're doing stuff over there. So like, I think I would love to see the scene, because I always say with my girl with a guy called Port Solo, like, okay, how can we turn this? How can we take this Irish from a music scene to a music industry? And I think that's what we've been trying to build the last 5 years, and I think the next 3 to 5 years is very critical.
So what you're saying is that when you're in the charts, that basically shows results.
Yeah, it shows
of
results.
All the back.
Yeah, it shows that people are listening to your music.
Of course.
People are buying your music as well. When
And
you're
then
in
it
the
makes
charts.
you earn that respect as well.
Yeah.
From, like, let's say people in the UK
Yeah,
want to work with you.
music is about validity. Like, okay, validating yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like even with the studio here. Like I want to get like racks in there.
Okay.
I don't necessarily
What does
need
that
it.
mean? What's
Sorry, Jesus Christ. Like external units, external compressor, external EQ, external reverb. Everything is in the computer already.
Right, okay.
But there's certain people that I work with, or there's certain people that I want to work with. That once they see that, they're like, oh yeah, this is the studio I need to go to.
Yeah.
They're not going to air what we're doing, but once they see it, they're like, oh yeah, this looks nice. So it's
Yeah,
like
once they see the setup,
yeah, it's
they know
like-
that this is a professional, top-notch.
yeah. So it's like
Right.
with everything else, try to do that.
Great, thank you. So tell me, how do you see yourself in the next few years? Of course, you're going to be very busy, I would imagine, still producing music, but then when you get married and, start producing kids, I like that, start producing kids as a producer. How would you incorporate all of that?
Yeah.
Would you take a break? Do you ever see yourself taking a break? Or will you go hard, or, how do you see yourself?
I just believe that the late nights is gonna have to reduce, because
Or you still do late nights?
right now, yeah, the
Wow.
music, like people love recording late in the night. I don't know, maybe they connect with different spirits at that time. I don't know, but it's just even I love working at
Yeah.
night as well, because like everything is everything is just mellow. Yeah,
Silence.
yeah.
We're able to think.
Yeah. So I believe that once I do get married and have kids, and that's gonna be reduced. But I don't mind that because I I've been in the studio a lot in the past decade, so I don't want to be in the studio as much anymore anyway.
Yeah.
So I have other engineers working in the studio at the moment, so they can keep that running while I'm not here. That's the whole aim. I don't. Yeah, I want to spend time with my kids,
Of course, of course.
raise the kids properly.
Yeah, of course. And what advice would you have for the young people that want to go in the same shoes as you are right now? You know, being an artist or even being a producer, or even just being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter what sort of industry. What advice would you have for the young people? Because I know you have said earlier that you deal with a lot of young people.
Yeah, whenever I just tell them repetition. Everything like in this music game, especially for what I'm doing, the mixing and engineering, producing, is repetition. The more you do it, the better you get. The better you get at it. I remember when I started, I read something about before you become a master at something, you need to have 10,000 hours, and I was like, oh shit, that's ridiculous. What do you mean? But I have 10,000 hours at this stage. But it's like repetition is very, very important. Resilience is key because in music, you're gonna hear a lot of no's, a lot of
Yeah.
nah, that's not it, bro. Nah, that's not it, bro. But you get 1 or 2 years. Like me, this past year, there's stuff I'm trying to do. A lot of no's. A lot like, nah, Simba, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. So yeah, those two things. What are you saying? Discipline. Yeah. Resilience, discipline, discipline. Oh my God, discipline is
Tell me
very,
more
very
about
key.
discipline because, you know, when you have an employer, it's different from being your own.
Yeah, the employer
You're
can
your
discipline
own
you.
boss.
Yeah, you're your own boss. Like if something doesn't work out, most likely it's because you didn't do something.
Yeah.
It's because you were not disciplined enough to be at your studio on time, be at your rehearsals on time. If you're an artist, write the song on time. I see bare artists coming in there. The manager has booked them in for 4 hours. They spend the first 2 hours just writing.
You're joking.
I'm like, you have a house. Like, why are you not writing? Why are you
Per
not
hour,
writing?
and you're charging them per
Yeah,
hour.
like
That's
why
money.
you not writing at home? So like yeah, those two
Wow.
things: repetition, resilience, and discipline. Yeah, because then that all feeds into your work ethic and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. I appreciate that because that's something I've definitely taken from this conversation. So, whatever it is, you have to master whatever it is that you do. For you to be a master at it, there has to be repetition, which is consistency,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
And then you have to be disciplined. And then, of course, you have to show some resilience because you will always have people telling you, no, no, no.
Yeah. I mean, when I started, I believe I was ass. I was terrible when I started.
You believe you were what?
I was terrible when I started.
Terrible at music?
Mixing,
Or? Mixing,
yeah,
right.
mixing. Because I just jumped into it. I just read books, watched videos, and said, okay, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I just started doing it, and I wasn't good, but I just kept doing it over
But
and
there's
over
nothing
again.
bad in that. It's
Yeah,
like
there's
what I do.
when you start anything, like you're not always gonna be like class at everything you
No.
do straight away. So it's like that's why you need to in those early stages. I think that's when you develop the what's it called. Like clockwork, everything becomes clockwork in the early stages because you just find your routine and you just kind
Yeah.
of stick to it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. No, I totally agree with you because I mean, even with what I do, people ask me a lot. People always tell me, "Did you study journalism?" And I'm like, "No, I studied nursing, completely different." But I just love, talking to people,
Yeah.
interviewing people, and I watched people that I know that are
Exactly.
great at it.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I'm hearing you say.
And one more thing,
Yeah.
if you're young right now, I don't know, you're your early teens and you wanna be a mix engineer or be a producer, the schools you can go. You can go to school,
Yeah.
get a 2 year whatever, and it'll put like for me like the first 5 years of mixing, it was just trial and error. It was trying to understand what I'm not supposed to do. But if you go to school, like they kind of show you what you're not supposed to do.
do.
Straight like
So you don't have to go through that whole
yeah,
process.
you don't have to go through that process of trying to figure out yourself, but it also helps in a way because then you develop your own ways of doing stuff. So yeah, that's my own.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much,
No problem at all.
Simba,
Yes.
for having us
No problem.
in your studio.
Thank you for having me.
And for such an incredible conversation.
Thank you very much.
So thank you guys for watching. It is the amazing Simba Bianchi.
Bianchi.
Oh, Bianchi.
Yeah, it's Italian.
Oh, it's Italian. Love that. Actually, how did you get that name?
Look, Simba, because Lion King, I love the Lion King.
Right.
I started growing a beard. So someone saw me in college and we were like, Lion, Simba, ah. And I was just like, yeah, I like that. So we kept with that. And Bianchi, because they're the manufacturers of of bicycles in Italy, like decades ago. And their bicycles, people were always riding their bikes to win the Tour de France. So I was like, oh, I want to associate with excellence like this. I was like, okay.